Let's crack open a beer and share some thoughts.
Welcome to Hopinions, and this week we're back at Liquorice in Shenfield for a rare occasion. We were just saying, it's,
just the two of us.
It's just me and you. That doesn't happen anymore, does it?
I think you need one of those little songs. Just the two of us.
Yeah. And this week we are going to be enjoying a few beers from Vocation, who have kindly sent us quite the care package. And we're going to be chatting branding as well, because Vocation themselves do have quite a distinct brand going on with their beers.
That's probably pretty well acknowledged, isn't it?
Yeah.
But they have a very distinctive brand.
Yeah. So we're starting off, we've got their Yakima Pilsner, which is a 5.5% craft.
Have you had this before?
Oh, I have had it before. I will admit.
I haven't. So, I mean, I'm a big fan of the Yakima hop. So,
let's give it a go.
Cheers. I'm quite liking this.
It's really sweet.
It's almost got sweetness on the nose.
Yeah, but you get a big kind of hop kick from it as well. And I can see what maybe they're targeting at here. It's trying to move lager drinkers over to more exciting stuff.
Yeah, I can see that. I'm still licking my lips.
It's got like a sweet stickiness, almost like a resinous to it.
And 5.5% is probably a little bit higher than a normal Pilsner as well.
Yeah.
I think it's really quite drinkable.
It's very drinkable. Now, like I say, I had this one before because it's one of the beers that's available in Tesco's from Vocation.
I've never seen it
at the moment.
I mean,
only I think in the bigger Tesco's.
They probably could just not bother with the word craft.
I don't think that was needed.
Vocation Brewery, Yakima Pilsner, 5.5% lager.
Yeah. Now this is just to try and keep it on theme with what's going to be the discussion later on in tonight's show, where we're going to talk about branding.
That makes a change for us.
I know. It's
keep it on theme.
We are going to try and stay on theme this week, mate. This is slightly different from the normal Vocation branding.
It's very much different because normally they have the something and something, don't they? And
black can, very distinctive, bold words,
and you can almost picture the can without the words.
Yeah,
this is not one of those cans.
No. This is a slightly different design. And we were chatting to Ant from Vocation, who's the head brewer there. And he was saying that they took a while to come up with the lager designs, because there's 3 lagers in the range, and they're all same brand in different colours. So where this has got like a pink and purple swirl around it, the others have got different colour swirls around them. They said they wanted a design where people knew it was Vocation, but at the same time was very different from their core range, because lager's more difficult to brew and it shows faults in a big way. So they wanted to come up with like a nowhere to hide range, which I think in terms of their branding, this is probably a little bit cleaner than the other branding that they have.
It is, but it sits aside from the branding.
Yeah. But again, if it's a range of lagers, then there's no reason why it can't have its own sub-brand within that.
We'll come on to it.
Okay, we will. We'll revisit it as the show goes on.
But an interesting idea, and also I wasn't aware that Vocation was doing 3 different lagers. It's a very easy drink, and like I said straight away, I love the Yakima hop. It's one of my favourite hops as well. Drinks really well, but unsure about the can.
Okay, well, like I say, we'll come back to that. So, in a slight change also from what we normally do, we're not really going to look back at what we've been up to much.
We can look forward.
We can look forward.
It's like a Doctor Who episode.
A little bit, yeah. So we'll actually start off with maybe what we did this past weekend, because that's going to be coming soon.
Hashtag too drunk to care.
Absolutely, yeah. So we went up to Birmingham.
Yep.
And
had an absolutely fantastic time.
Yeah, we were shown around, we were looked after.
Let's start off with that.
Yeah.
Fantastic time. Burning Soul, Wolf, Wellington.
Yeah.
Looked after. Didn't have to really think about anything. Thank you very much to the Midlands Beer Blog.
Absolutely, and you'll be able to hear the results of that over the next couple of weeks.
Yes.
Because we're going to be putting those out as a 2-part Midlands special, and there's a couple of pod blasts as well, which we did while I was out there.
Definitely worth a visit.
Yeah, and definitely worth a listen as well, because it's pretty sure, from my fairly hazy recollection, that it's one of these shows where we get increasingly drunken as time wears on.
And we don't say much, to be fair.
We don't.
I think we have about 5 minutes total content.
Apart from at the end where we were desperately trying to wrap it up, but they just wouldn't let us stop. So yeah, that's something to look forward to.
So that's the look back. That's coming up in the next couple of weeks. So what are you coming up? What are you doing next, Steve?
I'm off to Stone, Berlin tomorrow.
So as we're recording this, so this is a Monday recording as usual.
It is.
We're about 8:30 in the evening.
Yep.
At 8:30 tomorrow morning, so in 12 hours' time, where are you going to be?
I'll be landing in
Berlin.
In Berlin, yeah.
To go to Stone, Berlin.
Yeah. I've got to be up at 3:00 tomorrow morning.
This is the dedication of the man.
And considering we're only one beer in, it's going to be fun. Yeah, so I'm really quite looking forward to it. Going with Clayton.
Art director.
We're going out to pick up Clayton invested in some of the collaboration series that Stone have been doing. So the original intention was just to go out to arrange to pick those beers up and to get them back to the UK somehow. But we thought while we were there we'd make most of it and spend the whole day drinking our way through they've got something like 72 taps or something.
You are so dedicated.
I know, to the calls, and also going to be doing some recordings while we're out there as well. So hopefully we'll get a recording we've got a recording lined up with the head brewer at Stone to chat about what they do. And randomly as well, Logan from Beavertown's out there tomorrow as part of Cantoberfest, which is a series of weekly events that Stone are doing during October to celebrate beers in cans. So so there's a Beavertown takeover.
While you're in Stone, Berlin?
In Stone, Berlin. So
that is random.
Hopefully we'll grab a little bit of time with Logan as well.
You'll have a fantastic time. The place is just it's just amazing space.
Yeah, I actually can't wait. I'm really excited about it.
You will have a fantastic time. So hopefully everything will go well with the travel.
Fingers crossed, yeah.
8 hours there? There or thereabouts?
I think we're definitely going to be at Stone for when it opens at midday. And I think we've got about 8 hours before we need to leave to get back to the airport.
Yeah, you'll have a great time.
So really looking forward to that. But that's nothing compared to what you're up to. You're off to the States, aren't you?
Yep, I'm off to Phoenix, Arizona, with my son Michael. We've looked around. We've had a few. Well, I say we've looked around. I've looked around. I've looked around at all the beery destinations. I've emailed people and said, "Can I come with my 17-year-old son? Is it okay?" And they've gone, "Well, as long as he doesn't come to the bar."
Oh, that's cool.
So as long as it's got food,
yeah,
and we're at a table, it's fine. He can't come to the bar. We can go to the gun shop next door and he can fire that off. That's fine. But can't come to the bar near alcohol.
Yeah, don't
do that. I'm hoping to find out a few things. We've got Arizona State Fairs going on, so I think there's a few things going on there as well. So yes, hopefully I shall be bragging about on the next show having canned, fresh American beers.
So what breweries have you got lined up for?
No idea. Name-wise,
okay.
Just got a list in my head and on Twitter at the moment of places that I want to go to, which sound quite good. So just going to see what happens.
So that first show back is going to be quite the chat that
the beery catch-up might take a little while. So here's a warning for you.
Although actually it might not be the first show back, because I think we've got another kind of guest episode.
Have we?
Yeah.
Which one?
This was exactly your reaction on Saturday at the end of the recording where I said, "Do you know what's coming next?"
And I went,
"I've got no idea." Yeah. Pretty sure the next kind of recording studio show that we do, we've got Johnny coming back, who we did the show with from the Beer Channel a few weeks back, but he's coming back with his beer merchant's hat on this time, and he's going to take us through a series of UK micro brewed Belgian style beers. And that's going to tie into a box that they're putting together for us to sell on their website, so people can buy the box and kind of drink along with us.
So me and you are going to do Belgian beers together. Belgium inspired beers.
Belgium inspired beers by UK microbreweries. Thought it'd be a nice twist on.
It is a nice twist. How do you feel about that?
I'm actually quite excited about it.
Are you softening your stance about Belgian beers?
I mean, without giving too much away, one of the beers that we tried at the weekend at Burning Soul was a Belgian IPA.
Yeah.
And how they spoke about how simply they made it, which was to take their core IPA.
Oh, that was amazing, wasn't it?
And just replace the yeast, and it changes the beer.
Yeah.
But I'm the same with the Stone Cali Belgique. I love it because it's kind of it's a West Coast IPA, but it's just got a Belgian.
It's got a little hint through all the way through, hasn't it?
Yeah. So I think maybe that is my entry point into Belgian beers. It's trying beers.
So are we going to do a show in Belgium at some point?
Maybe. That's as much as I'm going to commit to it.
Okay, I'll go with that
for now. So it might be the show after that we do a bit of a big revisit,
big catch up.
Maybe that show we might not do anything else other than just a catch up,
just a chat.
Yeah, about what we've been up to, because it will be a while. Bearing in mind that what we recorded at the weekend will give us 2 weeks worth of content for people to listen to. We've then got the Belgian UK week with Johnny, so it's going to be 4 weeks from tonight until we actually sit down and
blimey, strap yourselves in.
record a normal show. So still ploughing through the beer, still loving it.
To be fair, I'm not really ploughing. I'm really quite enjoying this. It is very sessionable for 5.5%. And now it's settled down a little bit. I've sort of forgot it's a lager.
I'm thinking that it's getting a bit sweeter.
Yeah.
And I am wondering how many you'd be able to do before that sweetness became overpowering, and maybe I don't know whether you'd be able to session it.
I think if you had every can cold and drank it quite quickly, you'd be fine. But when it starts to warm up, I think you get a little bit too much with the sweetness, and you start to feel the body of it.
Yeah, but again, thinking where this has been pitched, it's probably at the perfect end of the market in terms of trying to introduce people to something that's not lager, but that is just really tasty beer.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think it's lovely. It's very drinkable. I just don't know if you can session it.
Yeah, that would be my concern.
Yeah,
you'd maybe have a pint or a can. Like I say, once it starts warming up, that sweetness becomes a little bit difficult to cope with.
Yeah.
Okay, so while we finish that off, it's been a very slow news week this week.
That's because we're not off air. So the next 3 weeks,
yeah, that's it.
all the shit's got to hit the fan.
It will start tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, won't it? It will start like at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. There'll be an announcement of someone would have sold out,
yeah,
or something.
As you're flying.
Yeah, and that would just go from there. You know. So yeah, I mean, the only thing that actually did pick up in the news this week, and I missed this, and I only picked it
as
up
well
because somebody released a blog about it, and I say somebody because I need to find their Twitter feed.
Are you looking right now?
Yeah.
This is how good we are.
This is one of our regular contributors who we always struggle with their names. So it's Drink Drank Drunk John at Drink Drank Drunk blog. Released a blog this morning about Beaver Towns have announced that they're not doing. Now, is it stingy or stingy?
I don't care.
Okay. Beaver Town aren't doing their pumpkin beer.
Yes!
Anymore.
I told you it was shit before. And now Beaver Town don't sell it. There must be a reason. It's because it's shit.
Apparently the reason is that there was a lot of it left over last year.
Because it's shit.
I don't know if it's because it's necessarily shit.
Shit.
It might just be that I had a bit of a chat to and fro with John about this morning. Was that I said personally I think it's a very niche beer. in a market that doesn't want it. So I don't think the UK, no matter how much the supermarkets and the card shops try, we are never going to embrace Halloween like the US does in this country. We're getting there, but it's never going to be the massive thing that it is in the States.
Can we ban Halloween?
I would love to ban Halloween.
Let's fucking start that hashtag now. Ban Halloween. Seriously, no, it's rubbish. The only time I've drunk it was when Beer Bods did their first live London. And we had Beavertown down there. We did 3 Beavertown beers. First 2 beers, fantastic. And then we had this one. I prefer to call it Stingy Jack because it's shit taste. And Clayton, our esteemed art director, who's going away with Steve to Berlin, we both we didn't finish it. And this was a free beer. So we paid for the ticket, 3 beers, God, that's awful. I don't get pumpkin as a fruit or vegetable, whatever it might be, but in a beer, don't work at all. It's all those spices. Doesn't work.
It is, and this was part of the discussion that I was having this morning, because I said, is this essentially the last of that style of beer in the UK? Because at the time I couldn't really recall any other major UK breweries that would have done a pumpkin style beer. And John came back to say that he did a quick check on Untapped to find out that there were examples by Thornbridge, Ilkley, Castle Rock and Witchwood, of course, because Witchwood aren't going to miss an opportunity
of doing Halloween.
Of doing a Halloween beer, even though I thought they already had the official beer of Halloween in Hobgoblin. And then he went on to say that the popularity of Untapped check-ins were, there were 8,000 check-ins to Brewdog's Pumpkin King, which I can't recall having seen for a few years. And I can't recall ever having seen it in the new branding either, so that's maybe not been around.
And 8,000 isn't actually that much on Untapped, is it?
No. And then 3,000 for the Beavertown one, and then 2,000 for the Witchwood one. So I mean, it's interesting because I just think that with maybe I think that the style's maybe dead.
Great.
Now.
Brilliant. I'm really happy about that. I couldn't wish for anything better. So we can get rid of fireworks, Halloween, proms. Happy with all of that.
all of the American imports. Does that mean the beer as well?
No.
Yeah, we need to be careful there. But yeah, I mean, I just found that really interesting. That again, it was one of these news items that just completely passed me by.
I mean, I did miss it, but it's quite interesting because again, going back to the Beer Bods, when we did the Beer Bods live, they really did trumpet the beer, and I didn't get it. And I still don't get it because it just had too much of that fruity spice.
Was that the first year it was produced?
No, I don't think so because that was the first time I actually met Justin Mason. That was the first time I met him, was at the Beer Bods Live, and I'm sure he had experienced it before, probably when he'd met Logan somewhere else. Who knows?
Justin's aged those beers though. He's been buying them every year and aging them to see if they change. So I think he's still got.
Does that mean
original versions of it?
Okay. Does that mean they're coming to the bottle shed one year?
Well, no, because it's within the constitution that pumpkin beers and Christmas beers aren't allowed.
Brilliant.
So it's within the bottle share agreement that everybody has to sign, that they're not allowed to ever bring those beers
in blood.
Yeah. But an interesting.
So that was the only news this week.
It's all I could find this week.
That was a very news-like week, wasn't it?
I know. I just it's just like that sometimes. Sometimes it's loads of news. I mean, there's still lots of buzz about the impending Fullers and Friends box set. Literally since that news came out 2 or 3 weeks ago.
But that's really it's not a mega buzz. It's like a slow, even status quo kind of buzz, isn't it? It's like it's just moving along all the time.
Yeah.
It hasn't got like the highs and lows, has it?
It hasn't, but I think it will. I think once the box is released,
when we get closer to Christmas, they get into Waitrose.
Yeah.
people will start getting a bit more excited
I think
about
so.
it.
I think that's when we're going to see people. I think for a couple of weeks after that box being released, I think you're going to see a lot of it in your Twitter feed.
See, I'm not so sure. Just because it's Fuller's.
Yeah, but look at who they've collabed with.
No, I agree with that, but I just don't think there's been that much noise so far. I'm quite surprised there hasn't been a bit more.
Well, we'll see. Only time will tell on that one. So, before we get on to this week's main chat, let's open another beer. Why not? And why not make a massive jump up to a double IPA?
Why not? Why wouldn't you? After 5.5%.
Seems to be the only sensible thing to do. So, again, from Vocation, cheers Ant for sending these down to us to try. This is Smash and Grab, which is their double IPA at 8.5%.
On a Monday night, why wouldn't you have this?
Yeah, in the more instantly recognisable Vocation branding. Which is kind of the round hand-drawn sort of images with the big words Smash and Grab in the middle.
Right in the middle, it's
Yeah.
instantly recognisable for me as a Vocation beer.
Yeah. I tell you what, the aroma that's spilling out of that glass
Makes me want to drink this right now.
It's that is incredible.
So, shall we say cheers?
Cheers. Oh, that's sticky.
Oh, sticky and bitter, resinous. Oh, that lets you know it's 8.5% though.
It does. It does. It's not got a burn on it. Like
no, but it lets you know there's a body in there.
Yeah, the body is what does it for me. It's big and it's thick and it's sticky.
Yeah.
It's properly sticky.
This beer is not letting you get away with it.
No. This is going to be a fun one to drink.
Yeah.
So we'll I think we'll enjoy this while we get into the main part of this week's show.
Hopinions, 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 Hopinions.
This week we asked, quite simply, is branding important? So, yes or no, 473 votes, a whopping 92% in favour of yes, that the branding on beer is important.
Is that our highest yes?
I think so. I think it's to that extent, yes.
Because it was. I mean, this is properly overwhelming, isn't it? 92%.
Yeah, there's no question there about it. And we did also ask people to make comment about who they think is doing it well. And just rounding it up quickly, it goes without any surprise that the likes of Magic Rock, Northern Monk, Beavertown, Cloudwater, Wild Beer, Wild Weather were mentioned many times. Yellow Belly from Ireland were mentioned a few times as well with their hand-drawn artwork. Lots of people referencing lots of different breweries in terms of who they think do it well.
Were there any that you thought should have been in there?
No, if I'm honest, I think the two that I expected people to comment on straight away were Magic Rock and Beavertown.
And they're in there.
Yeah, because I think in terms of who has set the bar in the UK, without a doubt, it's those two.
I'd agree with that. I think Beavertown with the way they have their skull astronaut shooting the ray gun, phenomenal artwork. It's absolutely bang on every time, and you can spot it, don't you? You see it on the fridge shelf.
Yeah.
Magic Rock. Yeah, you spot the clown.
It's that, but I think what Magic Rock have done really well is they've taken their Big Lad series, their Tall Boys, in a completely different direction.
Yeah, but it's still recognisable.
Instantly recognisable as Magic Rock beer.
Yeah, so you still spot the clown, you still spot the artwork, the design. It still sits there, doesn't it?
I think the only one that's been the departure was the recent release of the Bearded Lazy Dessert Edition, which was just on the black mat. But then when you look at it, you can see the shine and the images are still in
but
there.
It's not overt as the other ones are.
I think maybe the one that surprised me that wasn't in there was the one that we were talking about the other week, which was Lost and Grounded. who have got some incredible artwork on their bottles. But I wonder if that suffered from people have seen the question and they've instantly thought artwork, and the first thing that's happened is they've gone cans. When I walk into a bottle shop, what cans am I seeing?
Okay, so because we do notes, we do a bit of preparation. So we have Magic Rock, Northern Monk, Beavertown, Cloudwater, I think Yellow Belly can as well now.
Yeah.
Wild Weather, these are all cans.
Yes.
So,
apart from Wild. Oh no, you said Wild Weather.
Yeah,
sorry.
I didn't mention Wild. So these guys all do cans. So as we spoke about before, they have a 360-degree real estate, don't they?
They've got more to play with, yeah.
And so there's only two others that were mentioned there. Buxton and Wild were the only other two who don't can.
Yeah. Now, I love Buxton beers. I'm not sure about Buxton's branding. I'm really not. Their core range is exceptionally traditional in terms of their labels.
Yeah.
Think about Axe Edge. It's the logo and it's the words.
But you love Buxton anyway, so are we? Well, I love Buxton as well, but are we in the best position to judge?
Maybe not, but then we've had the experience of tasting their beers and enjoying their beers, and therefore we know. And this is going to come out in the discussion anyway, because a lot of people have said this, that it's actually about what's on the inside that counts.
Yeah.
But so Buxton surprised me at their inclusion in that list. I wasn't surprised by Wild, because I think Wild beer have a very, very distinctive brand, which is simply the reindeer head.
Which works really well.
Yeah.
Dark bottle, Wild beer, red, yellow, whatever, or green with that cucumber shit they've done before. You see it straight away. It's Wild beer.
Sometimes it's filled in, sometimes it's just the outline,
Yeah.
sometimes it's a soft outline, sometimes it's a thick outline.
750 bottle, wax edge.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that every slight variation of the reindeer head is an indication of the style of beer that it is as well.
Really?
Yeah. The last time you pulled that face at me was when I said about Lost and Grounded, and they came back on Twitter to say that was right.
That's fine. If they come back and say you're right, I'm not sure I can cope twice though.
But yeah. So as always, we're really grateful for the amount of people that got involved this week, and a lot of people had a lot to say about this.
A lot to say. Again, the votes came in at just under 500, which is brilliant in itself, but I think the votes, the comments were really quantifiable, weren't they? There's a lot of really good comments.
Yeah. So let's get into some of the comments, and this is an interesting one, because I do want to start off with this one. So this is from Guy Rains at G Rains. As divisive as they are, Brewdogs stand as a prime example of how important a clear brand identity is, at least in a mass market sense. For me, just the naming of Punk IPA is pure genius. The name, the tone of their voice and everything was a game changer. Now,
He's spot on.
he is. You say what you like about Brewdog.
Spot on.
You can't argue with that. They changed certainly the craft beer scene, and I'm rolling my eyes as I say it.
We're talking 10 years now, aren't we? So
Yeah.
Brewdog are 10 years old now. They did. They spotted something. That whether it be the label, the name Punk, the bottle top, whatever it was, they knew there was a brand. These guys knew what it took, and they nailed it.
They did, and it's interesting because when they first released the rebrand, I was like, oh, I don't like that. But if you now look at their old stuff, it looks really tired.
It does, doesn't it?
And
it's
looks
quite
it's
quite a contrast, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you put them side by side, because I was the same. I was saying, well, why did you bother? Oh, I was quite happy with that. A couple of years on, you think, oh, actually, it's really quite clean now.
Especially the labels on some of their bottles are embossed as well, and that feel. Sometimes it's about that texture as well, what you're actually holding in your hand.
It sticks out.
Yeah.
In the fridge.
Yeah.
Somehow it just brings out the wording, doesn't it? Brings out the letters. So yeah, I would say guys, Ryan, I would say they got that quite early on.
Yes, they did. and they've adapted and changed with it. And even now they do have a range of seasonal specials that go in sort of artwork cans as well. So they don't go into their standard branded sort of images. They've got like hand drawn images that they do as well. So again, that sets them apart as a brand within a brand almost.
Yeah, but even with the brand within a brand, they've got the core.
Yeah.
So today at work we had a lunch and they're trying a few new beers and Punk was in there, Punk IPA, and two guys recognised it from the bottle top.
That says it all really, doesn't it?
You know, we're 10 years on and they went, oh, we've got Brewdog.
Even down to the bottle top.
Yeah.
People know that little image. And it's a very, very simple image, that dog.
But it's very distinctive.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I would say that's a very, very good comment from Guy.
So I think that's a great point to start us off. And leading out of that, the next point's an interesting one as well. So this was something that a few people actually commented on this as well. So, but I'm going to give credit here to Paul at UNRCD, who's a regular contributor to the show.
Who's Paul? Don't know who he is.
And to another Paul, so Paul Brearley at The Real Bryman, who both said something along the lines of branding matters, but if there's a lot of beers I'm not aware of, a well-branded can or bottle will make me plump for that one over a dull one. However, branding doesn't need to be flash. I like the branding of Brew by Numbers and Kernel, which is simple but tells you everything you need to know.
I think we've spoken about Kernel before, haven't we?
Yeah.
So let's start with Kernel. I love Kernel branding. I love that simple brown paper bag wrapping.
Yeah, it's as simple as it comes.
So on the front it says the kernel, the beer, the percentage, and on the back it says the hops of where it's brewed. And that's about it. That's pretty much all it says.
That's all you need though.
And somewhere on the side it says bottles on and when you can drink it by.
Yeah.
And that's it. But it is completely and utterly distinctive.
There's no one doing anything like that.
No. And there's no point.
I'm pointing
the bottle you had earlier.
on an audio podcast because I did have a bottle before we started, and actually we had a discussion about if you were new to beer, would you take that off the shelf? Possibly not. Once you'd tried it once,
you'd always go for it. Yeah, and that's what happened to me last weekend. Out with some friends, picked up a case of Kernel, and it went in like 5 hours. Much to my utter dismay. But Kernel are a very good example where the branding works. People know Kernel.
Yeah. But, again, let's go with the other brewery that's mentioned there, Brew by Numbers. Yeah. Again, the branding works.
Yeah.
It's simplistic.
But the branding works in a different way because the numbers.
Yeah.
Everyone looks for the numbers, but you still spot the Brew by Numbers bit because the number can be a very different beer from one to another, but you spot the Brew by Numbers logo, the way it's written, the typeface. Again, I think it's cute in its simplicity. Brew by Numbers is simple. It
comes back to if you're new to beer, and let's put supermarkets to one side because we've done the supermarkets thing to death.
No,
but
have we?
If you walk into a bottle shop and you're suddenly presented with lots and lots of beer on the shelf, and all you know is that you like maybe something that's a little bit hoppy. So maybe you like an IPA or a session IPA. You're suddenly presented with now what is an absolute array of every colour of the rainbow in front of you, particularly in terms of the cans.
Yeah.
And I think in this day and age, I think people are maybe more likely to gravitate towards the cans.
That's interesting then. So, what would you go for now?
Now? What, bottle or can or?
Yeah, vessel. So we know your holy trinity is Axe Edge, Cannibal,
and Housing.
Yeah, so that's your holy trinity, 2 bottles, 1 can. But if you were, hard to imagine, but say you were new to the scene, would you go for Axe Edge or Housing?
Probably not, because they're very traditional branding. I would be attracted to Cannonball because it's an exciting can.
Yeah. But would you then, so if you're attracted to Cannonball, say that was the first one you saw,
yeah,
is it possible you then go just for high wire?
probably, because it's
Part of the same brand.
You're then into that collected thing, aren't you?
Yeah.
It's like, got to get them all, because there's a whole brand here that's got 8 different colours with the little smiling faces on it.
Exactly. So are we missing out, and the beer's missing out because branding's moved on?
Maybe, but then I think the flip side of that is if you've tried a beer, like, again, you know, you walk in here, if you tried a beer from the Colonel, if I walk into a bottle shop and I see Colonel beers, they would always probably be the first beers that I look at,
Because
just to check to make sure there isn't one there that I've not had before.
Because you also know and trust them as well.
Yeah. And one day hoping that you're going to see those magical words double citra again on a Colonel bottle. But I think if you was talking blindly, then yes, I would probably be drawn to the colourful cans, just because they stand out more, and because they're in the fridge and they're cold. And this isn't a freshness thing. This is a cold thing for me. Because if I've gone into a bottle shop to get a beer that I'm going to maybe want to drink now or in an hour's time, that beer is already cold. So I've not got to spend time chilling it.
So not only are you thinking about the branding, you're thinking about the vessel.
Yeah. Which is a completely different discussion altogether. Maybe we will cover that one off before Christmas, definitively. Seeing as we've put sparklers to bed now, maybe we can do bottles
and creamers.
Yeah, we've done that. We've changed the world with last week's show. So let's have a look at some of these other comments. So Joe Hill at Multiplex ran, and this was a number of tweets.
This is like a full text.
Yeah, he hasn't got the 280 characters yet, but
he hasn't got the 560 either.
It feels like it. So he said, if something's covered in beards or skulls and I've never heard of the brewery, I can be pretty sure it's a ropey rebrand or a cash-in. But a great branding is just an extension of the values of the brewery and its beer. So Colonel and Beavertown are both great. Have to say though, cracking original can bottle artwork from an unknown brewery does make me notice it on the shelf and has led to me buying it. Final point, my favourite branding is the Molen, instantly recognisable, stylish font and layout, and tells me everything I need to know. That's a lot to take in there. So
okay, so if we're going back to say beards and skulls, basically that's saying I love weird beard.
I think what he's saying there is if it's too overtly
craft,
then is
too
it
overtly hipster?
Then is it macro trying to do craft? So do you think you can walk into a supermarket or a bottle shop and pick out macro doing craft?
Not always, but a great branding extension of the values of the brewery and the beer. I think so, yes, but does that mean there are places which don't do it so well? So are there some people who do the branding really well, don't do the beer so good?
Yes, I'm not even going to sit on the fence on that one. Yes, there are.
Okay.
Because I think we've all been caught out by that in terms of
definitely. Like I said, I was caught out of it. Demolen. Would you spot Demolen?
Not when I started. I would now though. Yeah. Because what Joe says there is the Molen. You could probably put them up on the same shelf as Colonel and Brew by Numbers in terms of the simplicity is outstanding.
Yeah. So a bit of a.
Although a lot of it's in Belgian. Oh no, it's not. It's in Dutch. It's in some foreign language that I can't read. But
right. So, because it's got a beige background, windmill.
Yeah.
That's it.
But it sticks out.
Yeah.
And being as far down the rabbit hole as we are, we know that Demolen is a brand that you will buy their beer.
Oh yeah, God. If I see it, I'll buy it.
Yeah.
That's quite simple. But not everyone is that far down the rabbit hole.
No.
Who will spot a Demolen beer with a windmill on the front, are they?
I think we've not yet seen that, have we? We've not yet seen a macro trying to replicate the simplicity of the likes of the Colonel or Demolan in terms of just going to put a label on it and we're just going to add a few words and it's just going to tell you what it is and the ABV.
And it would nail it. Instantly recognisable, stylish font, layout, tell me everything I need to know. I'm not sure Demolan does do that all the time. It's recognisable, the font, I'm not sure it tells you everything you need to know. I would just buy it anyway.
You have to search for the ABV,
yeah.
I think sometimes, and it's difficult to read the ingredients.
Yeah.
Because they're in Dutch.
But I would buy it anyway.
Yeah. Well, I think we would. So again, we had lots of people, and we have already touched on this briefly, in terms of lots of people saying, well, actually, it's about what's inside that counts, and you're focusing on the vessel rather than the product. 5 minutes of Finney at Irish Finney. Branding can only take you so far. If your beer is poorly made or you suffer inconsistent quality, then your branding can't save you. And this is an interesting one, and I do want to dwell on this point in relation to the brewery that we're drinking this evening.
Yeah, okay. So we've got the Smash and Grab tonight, which is the 8.5% double IPA. Obviously, Vocation went into Tesco a few years ago.
They did.
And they didn't have a great time. The first few weeks.
Before that, they were riding a wave in the UK of being one of the most up and coming hoppy beer producers in the UK, and the likes of Life and Death and others that I can't think of right now. The others from their core range were cracking beers. And then they appeared in Tesco's, and everyone lost their shit over the fact that they appeared in Tesco's, went out and bought their beers, took them home, drank them, and went, that there was questions over, well, the flavour's gone, it's flat, it's lifeless, what's going on? And to their credit, in the last 18 months, they've begun to turn that round again.
Yeah.
So I very recently took the plunge again and bought some more Vocation cans from Tesco's. I think I got Heart and Soul, which I think is their session IPA, and actually the life was back. And I do question, and we haven't spoken to the brewery about this, and it would be great to have a chat with them. And I know Ant's for doing that, but we up for doing that, but we just couldn't arrange it in terms of putting it as part of tonight's show. It would be interesting to see what they went through. What was it? A case of the size of the order from Tesco was just too big for them to handle to enable them to get the consistency out, or was it something else? But they have begun to start to turn it around again, it would appear.
Yeah, there's a bit of a furore, wasn't there? I mean, let's be honest. There's a lot of backlash about, yes, in Tesco, but no, this beer's rubbish. I'm not sure I really experienced it myself enough because I didn't rush out to buy them, but I do wonder where it went wrong, because they must have known there's going to be a volume issue at some point. So if you're going to sign up to it, you need to know you can do it.
You've got to be able to produce what Tesco's are asking you to
produce. But not only produce what Tesco are asking you to do, you can produce any old shit. That's fine in quantity. But there's a certain amount of people who've tasted it before.
Yeah.
And you need to satisfy them as well. Because like you say, as soon as you knew, you went there and bought some.
Well, yeah.
And other people did. You weren't the only one.
They were
one of the biggest ones.
It's an awful phrase I'm going to use, but it's the only one that comes to mind right now. They were the craft darlings for a while. Everybody was raving about Vocation.
And rightly so, because they're fantastic beers.
And they appeared in Tesco's, and we went, craft world lost its shit over it. And everyone went out and bought them. Yeah. And everyone was massively disappointed.
Yes, exactly. And that was a massive black mark on their checkbook.
Yeah. For that.
Have they recovered from it entirely? For me, no, because I haven't bought anything from them. This is my first Vocation in a long time.
Well, like I say, I did. I was interested when I saw the Pilsner range in there, and while I was buying it, because it was part of an offer, I was like, okay, well, I will give them another go. And actually, the beer was the core range was better than it previously was. Obviously, the other stuff we're drinking here tonight, so the Smash and Grab and the beer that we're going to drink next as well, that's not part of their core range. These are part of their specials.
While we're talking about the beers, The first beer, the branding.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it not the same?
Well,
I know you explained
Yeah.
it, but I don't get it. I do not get it.
I don't either, actually. I think it stands out, it's striking that it stands out that it's so different.
They made such a big play on their branding, their colours, and their so-and-so and so-and-so.
Yeah.
And then they bring out a Pilsner.
Why change to something else?
Yeah, if you have an MO, stick with it.
Yeah. I can see what they've tried to do. They've tried to create a sub-brand of the main brand.
But why?
Which, I don't know, because I don't think that the two, if you put them next to each other...
I don't spot the two of the same brewery.
I was going to say, are they instantly recognisable as the same brewery? You've got to, eventually, looking on the smash and grab can...
To be honest, the Vocation Yakima looks cheaper.
Yeah. If you look at the smash and grab, which is part of their branding that's got lots of hand-drawn images on it, you will eventually find the same logo that's on the lager can.
And like you say,
but it's not instantly recognisable.
No, it's not instantly recognisable at all.
And
so both the beers are really good. I'm loving this double IPA. I love the Pilsner, but I would say they're different breweries.
Well,
just based on the branding.
Let's dwell on the double IPA for a moment, because we are almost done with it. Yeah. I mean, it's what we both said at the beginning. It's you get the mouth feel of it. There's big flavours in there. Lots of tropical fruits going on.
Massive tropical
fruits.
There
is a... Are we going haze or are we going murk on this?
I'm going to go with haze.
I'm going deep haze.
I was going to say heavy haze for a minute.
Yeah, because it's not, for me, it's not murky.
It's not murky. It's not like a tropical juice.
No.
I mean, obviously, I can't drink these beers without a bag on my head anyway.
But it does have a really, really soft finish to it that's full of juicy flavours.
Yeah. More so now as we've got through it as well.
Yeah. It's really enjoyable, actually. But like I say, I think, so often we say, oh, it doesn't drink its ABV, it doesn't drink its...
This one does.
I think you're drinking an 8.5% double IPA.
This one is not hiding.
No.
And I think that's quite good.
And it's wearing it proudly.
Yeah, I quite like that.
As well, yeah.
I think a beer should every now and again go, yes,
I'm
8.5%, I'm a double IPA, and you'll know it.
And deal with it, yeah. And just get on with it.
Anything else after this is down to you.
Yes, absolutely. So, let's just, final few comments then from this week. So, we had a couple of, we had one pub actually get involved in this as well. So this is the Gunmakers Arms at Gunmakers Brum. So I'm guessing they're from Birmingham, and they must have realised we was around and didn't visit them, which we're very sorry for. But we only had so much time.
Yeah, we only had a day.
Yeah, and they were talking about pump clips and labelling. And so they've said pump clips and labelling definitely sells beer. Taste, of course, matters, but sometimes it appears not to if the container is pretty. Which I think
that's quite interesting.
It is, isn't it?
So what we're saying is that if it looks nice, the pump clip's nice.
So I think we're almost going into a subsection here, because I am very much led. If I go into a pub that's got lots of cask beers, with lots of pump clips, I instantly avoid any pump clips that look cheap.
Right, so what do you do in the outhouse? Because the outhouse is a blackboard.
It is, but they do also have pump clips.
But if you're on the wrong side of the bar, it's a blackboard. So if you're on the right hand side of the bar, it's a left hand blackboard. Left hand side of the bar, it's a right hand side blackboard. So what do? Do you still look at the pump clips?
If I'm honest,
you look at the pump clips.
I've started checking Untapped before I go to the outhouse to see what they've got on, because they're a verified venue. They have all their beers on Untapped, so you can see what they've got on. So I'll check that first, and then I'll double check once I'm in there. I will look at the pump clips up, because they do stock a number of beers from breweries that I don't really want to drink.
So you look at the blackboard last. So you go for the branding.
Yeah, so I'm going for the branding first of all. So when I walked in there the other week and saw those three pump clip next to each other, the track, the Thornbridge and the Cloudwater,
and you went, oh my God, what should I choose first?
I was literally like, well, those three are getting drunk at some point, where am I starting? But yeah, I'm not always drawn by the pump clips. It will be probably my first port of call. Like I say, you walk into a busy bar that's got a lot of hand pumps, you're going to have a quick look along to see if there's anything there that maybe you recognise. Because for me, I always want to go safe first with cask, and then you start to look at, okay, well, let's go into a little bit more detail. Who's the brewery? And if I'm honest, 9 times out of 10, I completely ignore any imagery that's on there. I'm looking for the brewery, I'm looking for the name of the beer, and then I'm looking for the ABV. I've never been drawn in by imagery.
So the branding is irrelevant to you?
It is on hand pumps and keg taps. To be fair, I mean, we probably both drink in places these days where keg taps, you couldn't even notice a pump clip if there was one, because they're always on chalkboards.
True. I do go for the description myself.
Yeah.
So I will look at the descriptions of the beer, the brewery. I'll probably go for the brewery first.
Mm-hmm.
So the branding won't make any difference to me. So, but if I see, I don't know, Oakham, I'll go, okay. What's
It's a
that one
safe
like?
choice, isn't it?
I'll probably trust them.
Yeah.
So I'll go for it anyway. You're rubbish then, aren't you, with branding? No. On pumps and clips. So bottle shops, yes. But in pubs, no.
I think less so in pubs, yeah. Because I'm looking for... and I think a lot of that comes...
So you're going taps and casks, so you want to go for somebody you trust?
With cask, I do, yeah. Because I'm still massively wary over cask beer. Because certainly if you're in a place that you don't know how they've kept it, then I don't want to end up ordering a beer that tastes crap, only to find that I ordered it based on the imagery that was in front of me.
So do you think other people do the same? Possibly.
I have to say, and I suppose to underline that is that Oakham make great beer, and you know,
fantastic beer.
Their branding's fucking awful.
It's rubbish.
It's terrible. That the Oakham branding.
However, I do recognise it.
You do recognise it, but it's just terrible.
Because I went straight for Oakham Citra on Saturday.
But you're going to do that every time, though, aren't you?
Yeah.
Because it's a brand that you trust.
Yes.
And that's and this is where this whole...
Is that where...
It breaks down into so many subsections.
So what we're talking about sometimes, it's not so much branding we love, it's sometimes branding we trust, branding we like.
I think so, yeah. But I wouldn't ever... I suppose I would never rate a beer purely based on branding.
No.
If the branding has brought me to the beer and the beer is shit, then I might blame the branding for that.
I would still
But I'm also a grown man, and I've got to take responsibility for my own decisions.
Exactly.
So at some point. So
have we got any more comments? So
just two more. So one again from a bottle shop. So this one is from Dead Crafty Beer Co. at Dead Crafty Beer. When it comes to packaging, customers buy with their eyes. Our fastest sellers in the fridge tend to be bright, interesting designs, which I think we covered early on, didn't we?
It's back to cans. He's talking about cans, isn't he?
Yeah, but that's what we're moving towards now, isn't it? Surely half of the breweries who we drink regularly now have their product in cans.
Yeah, but we can't all be defined by cans.
No, but that's the way the market's moving, isn't it?
Oh, I hope not.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you not think eventually? Well, no, I don't think. I don't think we'll ever see a day where we'll see Colonel in a can.
No, that's not going to happen.
But if they did, it would be best fucking canned beer. let's be
the little brown bit around the top.
Can you imagine?
Completely silver can, brown. No.
See, I don't think it would work on a can.
No, it wouldn't. But it would not work on a can at all.
I mean, because the Molen have recently started canning, and I just think it looks terrible.
Have they?
Yeah, they've started putting some of their beers into cans, and in fact, I'm pretty sure that the images I've seen, they've done the cans that are like the resin cans.
No.
They're like
what, the two?
Like the Red Bull cans. They're tall and thin, rather than any other size.
Why?
I've no idea. Well, is it because they've thought, well, that's the way the market's going?
Oh, fucking hell.
We need to be on this.
Why would you do that? They're such a good brand. Why would you muck around the brand? Don't understand that at all.
I don't know. Maybe it's just that they've like so many breweries in canning lines, they've wanted to see if it makes their beer taste better at the end point when it gets to the consumer.
Oh yeah, but Demoler know that their beers are good beers. Demoler have fantastic beers in bottles, wooden cask, keg. Why would you fuck around with that? It's a quarter phrase.
No idea. You know, who knows why breweries make the decisions they do?
Oh, why didn't they ask us?
Yeah, we would have given them a definitive answer.
Yeah, don't do it.
Yeah. So I think just one final comment, just to finish off this week's opinions, this is actually from Ant at Vocation. So this is at Vocation Ant, who obviously he sent us the beers down tonight. He was aware that we was doing a show about branding, featuring their beers. But I actually think it sums it up quite nicely. He said, "A brand is not just the design of the can, it's about the brewery as a whole," which I think we began to dig into. In terms of the subsections of this discussion.
So what am I cracking open now, Steve?
This is a collaboration between Vocation and Chorlton. Now they did collab a while back, and we featured it on the show, Sour and Death, which was a sour IPA version.
Which I think, if I remember correctly, we quite enjoyed it.
Life and Death, yeah. This one's called. Actually, don't know what it's called. It's called Sour Smash.
See this,
and this is a sour double IPA, so it's
another 1.5%. Brilliant, but still, colour-wise, this looks like a Vocation beer. Black background, purple writing, and a bit of indication with the white. So why would you muck around with the Vocation Brewery Yakima IPA? Yakima Pilsner.
But even so, it's still almost a third version of their brand.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of similarities in terms of they've got an information box on the side of the can. Again, Ant was quite forthcoming in terms of saying that this is a new approach that they're taking to collab beers. So that the focus is going to be the ampersand.
But people don't get that.
People outside the bubble maybe don't get it.
Yeah. We are in a small bubble. That's the thing.
Yeah. Personally, I think Vocation's core brand is very, very distinctive, which is the something and something brand, which stands out, and each individual label is hand drawn in relation to things about the beer.
But forget about the hand drawn. You get the bit in the middle, smash and grab.
Yeah.
That's the bit.
And that's what the whole range is.
Yeah.
As well.
Something and something. So
and you take the breweries that we mentioned earlier. So Magic Rock have got the circus theme going on.
Colonel have the plain brown beer wraparound.
Beaver Town have always been things that they've tried to remain. Skulls and Sci-Fi and all the rest of it. Lost and Grounded have got their tapestry thing going on. It's great to stick to that core.
I think why wouldn't you? Just to be clear, this is lovely beer. This is delicious.
It's not massively sour.
No, it's not.
Either.
A little bit of sweetness on the end.
It's, you know what? There's hardly any sourness in that.
No, it's more like a boiled sweet.
That's lovely. Now I'm gonna go with this is full on murk this time.
Yeah, it is murky.
That's more than haze.
It is murky.
And from what I understand, sour smash is literally the smash and grab which we had before, the double IPA recipe, but soured with Chorlton's input to it. So 8.5%.
It does work.
It works very well.
Yeah.
It's incredibly drinkable. And this one does not taste like 8.5%.
No.
At all.
I know. So the 8.5% earlier did.
This one doesn't.
No.
This one doesn't at all. So while we work our way through this, firstly I'm going to say thanks again to everyone that's got involved with the Hopinions discussion this week. It's great that people have so much passion and they want to share that passion with us as well. So thank you everyone for getting involved. What are our views on this one? What do you think on branding?
I tried to think about it earlier. I'm not really sure where I see it because I love certain branding. So I'm going to go back to the Kennel. The Kennel has a particular style which works all the time, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm outside of the craft beer bubble, will I spot Colonel?
I don't think you would. I think you would overlook the Kernel.
Yeah.
Because of its simplicity.
It looks a bit untidy at times.
Yeah.
Especially on a pump clip. When they just do the wraparound bit.
Well, they've literally stuck it on the cellophane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll probably bypass it because I think, you've just been a bit cheap there. Can't be asked.
Yeah, but let's go back a few months where we ended up in the craft beer co and we saw a sellotape Kernel.
And we went, yes!
And
yeah, but that's because we
smashed pints of
But that's because we knew about Kernel.
Yeah. But if you didn't know, you maybe wouldn't.
Yeah, you wouldn't go for it. Because it looks a bit tidy. It looks a bit untidy, doesn't it? It looks a bit loose, a little bit haphazard.
It doesn't. Certainly their early bottles, when it was all hand printed as well, was smudged and you could barely read some of the words.
I think Vocation, smash and grab, looks fantastic. The other two do not smack a Vocation. I don't know why they would change it around.
Well, I think maybe we can give them that on the collab because it's a collab series.
It's got the colours.
Yeah. It's kept the original colours of the beer. Yeah. I can see that.
So where do you see it? So, alright, put it another way. I'll go back to the Axe Edge. Now, day one, craft beer, would you go for Axe Edge?
What if I was walking into a shop?
So, come into...
unaware of...
Well, we're in a shop. We're in the back of the shop,
Yeah.
Liquorice. You come into here, you see Liquorice as a off licence, you come in here, you see Axe Edge. Would you go for it?
Probably not, because it looks like a very traditional brand, and I know Buxton are beginning to move some of their brands to kind of some of this more landscape, hand drawn theme for some of their images, but no, I wouldn't. If I was walking in here fresh now, I would pass Axe Edge by without knowing of the amazingness that I just let go past.
Which a lot of the comments we had today was about the beer inside, wasn't it?
Yeah, but
you're going to bypass the beer inside because the brand outside
doesn't look great. Yeah.
So we're visual,
and that's the thing. So certainly in terms of where, again, trying not to use air quotations, but where craft beer is now, it's available in so many outlets and it's available to so many people. You've got to draw people in. You've got to draw new drinkers in on that first impression.
Well, presumably, if you want to, let's assume you want to draw people in, then yeah. Axe Edge is not going to draw you in.
No, it's not. But
in fact, no Buxton beer is going to draw you in.
And equally, neither is any Thornbridge beer.
Yeah, true.
No matter how great the product is inside, I'm going to look at it and I'm going to be like, meh. oh, there's a nice shiny can over here. What's in this?
Yeah.
And I think
So we go back to the visual.
we do, and we go back to the visual, but we also go back, and this could take us deeper into this discussion, which is probably where we don't want to go right now. But in terms of the UK's history of drinking beer, so
It's visual.
canned beer has always been cold, fizzy beer.
Well, going back a step before that. So we used to drink out of tankards,
Yeah.
which were, you couldn't see through. And then we started going glasses. And then we can see clear, cold beer. And then we've stuck with that.
Yeah.
We need clear, cold beer. And you need to move away from it.
I think we do, and I think as we try to draw people into, let's call it tasty beer. Let's not call it craft beer. And I'm very much coining a phrase that I know Roland uses a lot on Stephen Rowland's beer podcast. He's always talking about tasty beer. That's essentially what we're talking about, and I think that's a great word to substitute for craft.
Tasty.
Yeah, it's not craft beer. It's just tasty beer that we're drinking. As we try to bring people over to that, yes, I think branding and what your product looks like has to be the first thing.
Yeah.
Because it's got to stand out on the shelf.
That's the first thing you see.
And it's got to stand out in an overwhelmingly more and more busy shelf as well, because there are more products appearing on that shelf and there are more brands, and you know, if you go in for the first time, you're not going to know where to go.
True.
With it.
So we would miss out on beers.
We would miss out on beers. We would absolutely miss out on beers.
Because their branding aren't shiny.
Yeah. Because they don't draw you in.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that we've really come to a conclusion there, but
No.
as always, it's been great having the discussion. So, while we continue to enjoy what is an incredibly tasty beer, I've got to say.
Yeah, I'm loving this.
It's
Very sweet.
I'm as a sour beer, I am loving this.
Not often you're going to hear
And I've got
say
a
that.
record to say that as well. Let's have a little look at what our listeners have been saying this week.
Let us know, write it down. Let us know, write it down. Let us know your thoughts and bitter and lingerness. Write it down.
So first of all, thank you to everyone for their comments about last week's show. I think we've actually educationalised, is that a word? Educated.
Oh, I'm not
That's
sure it's a word. But I've loved the feedback.
Yeah.
Seriously, this we loved recording that show.
It was brilliant. It was a great evening.
Yeah. And me and Steve sat upstairs just fairly much listening.
We learned a lot as
Yeah.
well while we were there. Yeah. And that's the second time we've sat through that.
Yeah.
as well.
So
isn't it?
we did it a couple of months ago and we thought, oh, this will work in a proper show, and we did it, and we learned a lot even the second time round, and we loved it. But what we also loved is people coming back to us saying they love what we've spoken about.
Mm. Yeah, so it might be that I don't know how much more education we can do around.
Limited. It's us.
Fairly limited, but we enjoyed doing it, and
Yeah.
we're really grateful for all the feedback. The other thing, as always, Paul at UNRCD has got his sort of question of the week. I almost feel a new segment coming on here.
Paul's question.
Paul's question this week is: do you think there is a significant difference in the taste, smell of beers in different types of glassware? And what's your favourite?
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Can I go?
Yes.
Okay, I am a glassware wanker. I'm going to admit that. I've got a glass for every style of beer. I don't think any of them do anything different to any of the beers, apart from I have a massive brandy glass that was my dad's, and I bought it for my dad for his 40th birthday. My dad always used to complain about having a toothache every evening and had to have a little bit of brandy to soothe the toothache. So I bought him this massive.
Of course he did.
Bought him this massive brandy glass and got it engraved that said "Dad's Toothache Soother." When he passed, my mum kept the glass, and when my mum passed, I took the glass and I started pouring Impey Stouts into this glass. And I think it gives the beer so much more to it because it captures all the aroma. It's got this whole bowl bottom to it, and then it's got a tiny little top, and you capture all that aroma in there, and you sit there kind of like a brandy ponce, swirling it around. And
so is it because you're a brandy ponce?
No, I think that is the only glass that I think changes the aroma and feel of a beer for me.
So what you're saying is a brandy glass, Impey Stout?
Or a snifter, a brandy glass or a snifter.
Yeah.
And I've got the Impey or the stout glass that's part of the Spiegelau set, and it does fuck all for the beer. The only thing it's good for is pouring left-hand milk stout nitro into to see it bubble up as it should do. And like I say, I've got lots of glasses, and I don't think any of them make a blind bit of difference to the beer, apart from an Impey Stout in a brandy glass.
You heard it here. Let us know what you think.
Have you not got a view then on this?
No.
It's glassware, isn't it?
I have no view.
At the end of the day. So yeah, and as always, get involved with this week's show or any of our shows. Use the hashtag Hopinions. We'll find you and we'll feature you on the show. So, final thoughts on the
collaboration?
Yeah, double smash.
Loving
Sour
it.
smash. Sour smash up.
Actually loving it.
I'm loving it as well. It's not overly sour, but it's got this really sweet, zingy finish to it.
The sweet singing vision is lovely.
Yeah.
It makes you want to come back for a bit more.
Absolutely. And you don't get, even though the look of it is murky as all hell.
It is murky.
You don't get that thickness in the mouth. You don't get that juiciness in the mouth. It's just incredibly
It's got a
drinkable.
real bitter finish.
It's just so drinkable.
The bitter finish is lovely.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous. So I'll just once again thank Vocation for sending the beers down. Thanks to Ant, who's the head brewer up there. He sent us a lot of beers down. We couldn't possibly feature them all on the show. So we're really grateful for that. Yeah, they've been a good selection. And although they're on brand in terms of the colours, they are kind of subsections of a subsection of a brand. I
would question the branding.
Yeah, I would do, actually. Anyway, next week, we've already spoke about what's happening next week. You have no idea, as always. So next week...
As always, I have no idea. Steve just tells me what we're doing. So
next week will be part 1 of our Midlands special. Week after that will be part 2. Obviously.
Oh, shocker.
Shock. And then we will be back in 3 weeks' time. Sort of live recording, doing the UK-Belgian micro-brewed beers.
Oh, is that what we're doing?
Okay. Yeah.
See,
spoke about it at the beginning.
Every now and again I get told what we're doing.
You always get told what you're doing. Cheers, mate.